Good morning, city employees. I was asked today to talk about Veterans Day. As many of you know, I proudly served in the United States Army as a combat medic, and my favorite unit was in the 1st Infantry Division, where I deployed during the early days of the Iraq War. I also have been a military spouse for 17 years. My husband's hit his 20th year of service this year as a full-time National Guard officer here in Oregon. So our life has revolved around our military service. And I do think that's probably one of the driving factors in the work that I do today. People often ask me, and they asked me to talk about in this interview, how did being a veteran really impact or shape my life in the civilian world? And I would say, the thing that they don't talk about leaving the military enough about is how lonely it is when you leave. You go from having this immense network and a mission every single day, and you know that you're working towards goals with other people. And the grass always seems greener. So when you get out, it kind of falls out from underneath you. And really my path back towards, I think, being whole was volunteering right here in the community. I've talked a lot about going out to my mailbox and finding the card for the Beaverton Community Vision Project and talking to a mentor that told me to figure out a way to serve again. And so I did, and that kind of propelled me back into life. We moved here when I left active duty. My husband had his military guard community around him the whole time, and I didn't. And so I think that transition is harder than people talk about it being. For the last 5 months, I've had the honorable opportunity to go down to the George W. Bush Center and work on veteran issues with 50 other people from across the country. Now that we're ending this chapter of Afghanistan and Iraq and 20 years of war and moving towards what is next for the veteran community, it's important to think about the military spouses where the unemployment rate is nearly 40%. The fact that 21 heroes are still taking their lives every single day, that there's not equity in procurement in local governments when veterans leave and start their own businesses. And so I would say the driving force is to honor the sacrifice that many of our friends gave to this country and the ultimate sacrifice. And I wake up every day with this feeling that I need to do more for myself, for our community, but also for them. And it also just gave me this ability to do things when I don't want to do them. The Army teaches you to do hard things every single day. And so that's what I do. I wake up, I do hard things, and I serve our community here. On this Veterans Day, I've been reflecting a lot about the collapse of Afghanistan and how many of my friends have come together to help get people out of Kabul onto airplanes into the United States. And now we're fighting to get them into housing and into this secure environment. My family, my family has, we had a translator that paid a lot for my husband's freedom and saved his life. And this is meaningful for us in the work that we're doing. I think the hard work ahead of us is still out there. We got to welcome a lot of families home to America that have been standing by our side for a long time. The way the military operates going forward is going to look a lot different, I think, as we exit out of global conflicts. And our National Guard is starting to rise. We have our own employees here in the National Guard that are out there vaccinating Oregonians, rescuing them off the side of the mountain, responding to wildfires, literally left the state to welcome home Afghan refugees. How we use our military services are going to look different. How you, as the National Guard or reservists that work in this building, are responding to state and global crises look different. I want to thank you for your service on this Veterans Day. And if you're not a veteran watching this video, I think we forget the bare minimum of thanking people for their service and really making sure that we create an environment where people are supported. And I think what I would want people to know about my generation of service is that not all wounds are visible. There's a lot that happened to veterans over the last 20 years as we try to regain our position back in the community. I know it probably should be more of a hopeful message, but this year on this Veterans Day, with the collapse of Afghanistan, I've just been thinking about service incredibly different. So if you're one of our employees that served in any of the branches, I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank your family for their service because you can't serve without them. And thank you for choosing to make Beaverton the next step in your journey. And if I can be helpful to any of you in our buildings, please just ask. We have to stick together. Duty first. Happy Veterans Day.